All right, everyone, we are live. Happy Tuesday. I almost said happy Thursday. It already feels like it's Thursday to me, Joshua. How are you doing?
I'm good. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Oh my God. Can I tell you, like, I'm leaving Facebook. I've decided. I am done with Facebook. Well, I don't know about completely, but like I'm pretty pissed off at them because here's the thing. Here's what happened today. Because I'm doing this Facebook group to have civil discussion and dialogue, and you're in it. I don't know if you actually look at it, but you are in fact in the group. And so today, someone tried to post a list of questions to the Facebook group about lockdown. Facebook censored it. Like that. I got a notice as the admin saying, we have removed this post from your group because we believe it puts people in danger. There was nothing wrong with the post. It was just a list of like questions of like questioning the lockdown and why can we go to Target but we can't go to TJ Maxx, and why can't, kids who probably aren't going to die play outside and things like that. And they were loaded questions to be sure. But when Facebook censored it, I got pissed. Right. I got pissed. And it wasn't even an issue of like, do I agree with the questions or do I not agree with the questions? Like, that's not the point. The point is that people should be able to ask the question. We should be able to have the discussion. Yeah. And
what is the Voltaire quote? I may not agree with what you say,
but I will defend your right to say it.
To the death.
Well, exactly. And I think people, like, I don't know when this happened, but how did people forget that free speech was like an important thing? When did this happen? Do you have any idea?
Well, it's the cancel culture. I don't know. Was it right around the Me Too stuff?
I think, yeah, about 2014, 2015 is when all this nonsense started and just keeps escalating. Yeah. And people have forgotten that the whole point of free speech is if you don't defend speech that you disagree with, then you're just setting yourself up to be censored next, because they will never stop at the people you're trying to censor. They're always going to come for you.
Right. Well,
I understood this when I was 13 years old. I don't know how people are missing the point now.
Well, I think maybe I know that with hate, there's that fine line between hate speech and free speech.
No, hate speech is not a thing. Hate speech is not a real thing, Joshua.
It's not a real thing.
No.
Pray tell.
It's not a real thing. Like, what in the First Amendment says that you can't, like, you're not allowed to say things that aren't nice? The ACLU used to defend some of the most reprehensible organizations in the world. The ACLU defended the right of Nazis, literal Nazis, not Nazis that like we have now, literal Nazis, to march in a Jewish, in basically like a Jewish city. It wasn't all Jewish, but it was like Skokie, Illinois, very high population of people who are Jewish. They defended the rights of Nazis to march there. They defended the rights of the KKK. They defended the rights of the Westboro goddamn Baptist Church. And the reason you do these things, the reason you defend the most reprehensible speech is because it protects free speech for the rest of us. That used to be what the ACLU did. The ACLU does not do that anymore.
ACLU is who?
American Civil Liberties Union.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Their whole purpose for being is to defend our liberties, and they have stopped doing it because free speech used to be like a liberal thing, and it apparently is not in the land of crazy people.
So essentially with what's going on with what they did to you is that you were talking about whether or not we should be quarantined and why there's like discrepancies between. And
I wasn't saying anything. I wasn't saying anything. This was someone who posted in my discussion group just saying, like, what are all these contradictions with the lockdowns? That was all it was. It was literally a list of 29 questions. Okay. That was it. Censored, deleted, not allowed to talk about it.
So it may not have been Facebook. It could have been somebody reported.
No, it was Facebook. Right? It was Facebook. This was a Facebook removal. This was not a mod removal. This was a Facebook removal.
Wow. I wonder if they just have like these things that pick up them, you know what I mean? Like those algorithms or whatever that they picked up some words or what. But in any case, it's ridiculous. It's crazy.
It is absolutely ridiculous. All right, guys, welcome to Nothing Remotely Controversial. This is a show that Joshua and I do every week. on Tuesday at 9:30. I keep thinking it's Thursday. I almost said Thursday again, but we do it on Tuesdays. I wish it was Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Time. I run my mouth about whatever news I feel like talking about, and Joshua works his psychic magic to let us know. And although all psychic predictions are for entertainment purposes only, YouTube, Joshua is actually a professional psychic and has been doing it for a very long time. And, I think he's pretty good at it. He has his moments.
Thank you, Carlin.
And to start us off today, we already have a super chat from Ken. Ken, who is going to join my locals community because I'm leaving Facebook and I'm going to locals, kb.locals.com. But Ken has a question for us. Can you guys do a big spread with the tarot for an overall prediction for the rest of 2020? Joshua, can we do Ken a big old tarot spread?
The whole show, a whole
Well, can we do an overview?
Let's do an overview, a quick 3-card overview for the rest of 2020. In what regard? Are we talking arts and entertainment? Are we talking politics? Are we talking can we zone in a little bit?
Ken, can you give us more direction?
You tell me about my life. Oh, okay.
A little bit more specificity, please, Ken. And waiting for that, I still haven't watched the documentary. I swear I had on my list. I still haven't watched it yet. This person recommended a documentary on Friday. I swear I have it on the list. It's coming.
Pinky swear.
Pinky swear. Pinky swear. I haven't really watched. I watched a bunch of horror movies this weekend. I was in a horror movie type of mood.
Not.
I did.
I did too.
What did you watch?
Okay. So I watched Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 because I hadn't seen that.
Which is the best Nightmare on Elm Street, except for Freddy's Dead.
Oh, no, the first Nightmare on Elm Street's the best. Sorry. And then I Prime has all the Friday the 13th.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. So I started with 5, and then I went to 1, and then I just I think I gave up.
Oh.
What did you watch?
I watched a bunch of found footage movies. I watched a found footage movie about a moron opening a Dibbit box, which is basically a haunted spirit box. It's very, and then I watched The Possession, which was another movie about another Dibbit box, and that was very good. All right. Ken has gotten back to us, and he wants to know, will society change overall, or will we go back to some kind of normal? I think it's a fair question.
I think so, too. Thank you, Ken, for your amplification.
Thank you, Ken.
Will you repeat the question one more time, Carlin?
Will society change overall, or will we go back to some kind of normal?
Tell me when to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Okay. I'm just kidding.
Don't do that. God.
Oh, yeah. There's some changes that are afoot. So the Knight of Swords comes up. The Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is the epitome of goal-oriented activity. So this is about changes happening that require fast and competent reactions. So there's definitely going to be a lot of changes afoot. There's definitely going to be more business opportunities. 2 knights in a reading always have to do with new business opportunities. And you also have Knight of Cups. So whereas Knight of Swords is about goal orientation of big changes oh, what just happened, and having to be really cool headed. The Knight of Cups is the romantic of the tarot. Mm-hmm. So this is about achieving your ideals, your emotional ideals, looking for the emotional family, looking for that sense of self-trust and romance and love. So there's this extreme energy with these 2 knights that are completely different. So I feel that work stuff is going to definitely change, and there's going to be some really, really big changes there. But the big thing is really emotionally, and it's about all of our ideals as a culture are going to somewhat change, and that's going to reflect the landscape. And then we have Valor, the 7 of Wands. The 7 of Wands. So the Valor card It's about asserting yourself unconditionally. So I think that with the stuff with Corona, I think that especially since the North Node has moved into Gemini, and it's out of the Cancer Capricorn axis, there's going to be more of like this like choice. And I think that people are going to be asserting themselves. I think there are going to be some really, really strong rules that will be put into place. And then that's going to go really against the emotional ideology of the public in some way. So a lot of it is really very much based upon unconditional self-assertion. So it's very, very interesting. I would say that there's going to be some stuff that happens that makes us really put a stake in the ground, so to speak, and really, really defend what we believe in, not just logically with the Knight of Swords, but also emotionally. So I think the whole thing is that it's really to look at what's going to be happening. It's because people are being affected on a very emotional level, but there are definitely going to be more changes. So I think that there'll be a new normal that's going to be created from people's logic, their brains, but also from what they emotionally need. I think that's going to be really key. Does that help, Ken?
I hope it helps him. And one of the things that I'm going to be doing with my locals community, what it is? I'm going to be working on helping people to learn how to express themselves in an empowered way. That's one of my goals for the community. Sounds like it'd be a good fit, right?
It's brilliant. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. So I hope people join it. All right, let's see. So Shelly says, do not open a Dibbit box. And this is really good advice. And she says, Post Malone opened a Dibbit box. And that was the thing that tried to kill him multiple times. And I heard about this. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos about this the other day. And the Dibbit box he's actually opened, or that he didn't open it. It's in Zach Baggins. That's his name, right? Zach, the ghost hunter guy. It's in his museum in Las Vegas. I've actually been to his museum in Las Vegas. I've seen this Dibbit box. This Dibbit box is creepy as hell. I definitely got like really bad, like negative energy from it. I wanted to leave the room.
What is a Dibbit box?
It's like a haunted Jewish box that's supposed to contain a spirit of a demon. You're not supposed to open it. It's like a very, very cursed thing.
Well, so, why would you open it?
Yeah, don't open a Dibbit box. This is like serious business. I'm not messing around.
Don't go into a burning building.
Yeah. No, but that Dibbit box, that's no joke. Like I got bad feelings from very few things in that museum, but that was definitely one of them. There's also a really creepy doll, and I got to tell you, so there's this creepy doll in this museum, and like if you like, and of course me being the fucking wise ass that I am, I'm like, I'm gonna go stare that doll in the eye and challenge it to a duel. And I swear to God, I stood there and they were like, don't do it, Carl. And I'm like, I'm doing it. So I sat there and I stared the doll in the eye, and I was just thinking like, come at me, I'm more powerful than you. I swear to God, this is the God's honest truth, Joshua. I'm standing in this room, in this museum doing this. All of a sudden, the whole room starts to spin. And I'm like, and I had to run out of the room. The doll definitely won that battle.
Wow.
I got really dizzy. It was really bad. What's that?
Where was this?
This was at the Ghost Hunter Guys Museum in Las Vegas. Remember I made you watch that movie Hell House?
Yeah.
That guy's museum. And I saw the stairs from Hell House too, but they weren't creepy. But that Dibbit box, that was creepy.
Sounds very creepy.
All right, we got a super chat from Cold Summer. He says, Carlin, I recommend doing a live stream with Styx Hexenhammer. He predicted Trump would win back in 2016. Defense Free Speech. Frostley's from Vermont. I know who Styx is. I watched Styx because you guys told me to. I like him. I think it would be a fun live stream with him. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't really pit myself out for those sorts of YouTube shenanigans. If people want to talk to me, they can talk to me. Like whatever. I'm not going to get into debates or any of these discussions. I think it's stupid. All right, Joshua. You know who else wants to inhibit free speech?
Who?
Karens. Karens want to inhibit free speech. And I am having so much fun with the Karen meme, but the thing that's really pissed me off is people on the left are trying to appropriate the Karen meme what they want it to mean, and freaking my friend that you know who I'm talking about, whose name starts with an S, she called me a Karen over the weekend because I don't want to wear a mask. And I was like, that is not the correct use of the word Karen. And she and I got into a little tiff.
Totally. But can we get the Reader's Digest version just for people?
I'm gonna read this article that I wrote.
Good. Okay.
which is the ultimate crowdsourced definition of a Karen, to make sure we're all on the same page. I did a video about this the other day, but just in case everyone missed the video, we're going to do a little dramatic reading because it is very important to me. And I know this is, ironically, this is a very Karen thing to say, and I'm going to acknowledge that I'm being a little bit of a Karen right now, but it's very important to me that people use the definition of this term correctly. Okay? No appropriating terms and changing definition, leftists. All right, so here is the proper definition of the term Karen. And we're going to do the Karen taxonomic rank first. And so, kingdom, erotica, phylum, gulagia, class, tattletailia, order, hypocrite, family, busybody, genus, home alone, species, Kareness. Overbreeding and a lack of natural predators have caused this once nearly extinct creature to thrive under current conditions. How Karens manifest in the real world, particularly in the era of COVID-19. A Karen is a person who is a killer of fun. They're usually bougie, entitled women who will inevitably ask to speak to the manager should you not conform to the way she expects you to behave. A Karen will not hesitate to call the cops and tattle on neighbors who dare to have a barbecue, and will call you selfish for wanting to protect your freedom while simultaneously trying to impose her wannabe authoritarian view of the world on you. Karens only care about freedom when it comes to their freedom to behave like a Karen. A Karen will endlessly lecture on the virtues of masks and locking down the economy while simultaneously sitting at home collecting a paycheck and not giving a shit about the 100,000 small business owners who have permanently shut down their life's work as a result of fear porn and mass hysteria. Although people identify Karen as a woman due to the distinctive Karen haircut many of them have, do not be fooled. They can also identify as a male or non-binary and still be referred to as a Karen. A Karen is not a gender, nor is it a haircut. Karen is a state of mind. Prominent examples of Karens include Kate Goslin from John and Kate Plus 8, Mika Brzezinski, who we're going to talk about in a second, Alyssa Milano, Michael Rappaport, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter, Jennifer Rubin of the Washington Post, and Brian Stelter of CNN. When Karens congregate. A group of Karens is most often called a complaint. They may also be referred to as a tattle, a privilege, a scold, a gripe, a busybody, a judgment, a Twitter, or the View. And that is the proper definition of the term Karen. What do you think about that, Joshua? Am I clear?
Yes, I think that it's important for people to know, just if they haven't heard of this, that the whole thing is that there's the type of woman who is, as Carlin suggested, is just very into complaining, and she's usually white, she's usually like entitled, and is just, as you had said, trying to ruin everybody's good time. Mm-hmm. I think that it's excellent that this is a thing now. I think it's really, really great, because the thing is that it's important to have Carlins. Excuse me. Sorry. Hold on. It isn't. It's more important.
You better strike that motherfucker and reverse that immediately.
Hold on. So it's important to have Karens for a few different reasons. One is because they do your dirty work for you. If your neighbor is having a way too loud party on a Wednesday night and it's at 2:00 in the morning, you don't have to do anything. You just get to sit back and be like, just expect her, and she's going to handle it for you, and she's going to be the one who calls the police, and she's going to handle it. And the other thing is that what this is doing that is so great is that it's keeping us very, very cognizant of not doing stuff like that, like not complaining. I think it's awesome that this is becoming a thing. I think it's ridiculous that, did you hear that somebody, probably a Karen, said that calling someone a Karen nowadays is analogous to the N-word?
Yes, I've heard it. They're trying to say that Karen is a racist term. Yes, it is not a racist term.
It can't even be racist, because you can't have racism without power, right? So
no, Joshua, no, we're not buying into social justice bullshit. No, that's bullshit.
Hey,
Whoever taught you that in Hollywood. See, this is the problem. Is
This
you
is
live in
not
Hollywood. No.
No.
Joshua, I know exactly where you live. I have been in your apartment. You live in Hollywood. And this is exactly the problem.
This is not where I got that from. Wait. I got that back when I was in high school from a nun called Sister Kathy Fleming. Okay.
Well, okay.
Now, this is way back. So she knows her shit. So don't be going against Kathy.
Sister Kathy
is rip you to ribbons.
You know what? Sister Kathy was obviously one of the earliest social justice warriors.
Maybe. I don't know. But
so we're not going no.
Hey, I can't disagree with Sister Kathy. Can't do it. I'm sorry. Can't do it. Anyway, the fact that somebody would say that using the term Karen is now that's just crazy, but I love it that I get caught on Instagram watching the Karens go wild. Have you seen those? It's like a car crash. You can't like stop watching them. They're
what is your favorite Karen video?
I found the one today very upsetting with the dog.
Oh, we're going to talk about that because that's not the whole story, actually. Ooh. That's not the whole story. So what is, because I was very upset about the dog too, like Central Park Karen. I was very, very, very upset about this. Because like, I mean, you know me with dogs. I mean, like, you will not hurt a dog around me. And so I was upset about it. But then what it came out as is, so there was a confrontation before he started rolling the camera. And he was actually being a Karen as well. They were both being Karens in their own Karen way.
Well, and so you're telling somebody to put your dog, what the hell do you care, dude? Like, go away. I'm not saying it wasn't reprehensible, but mind your own fucking business.
Well,
leave
it's also
alone.
Well, but it wasn't even just that. It wasn't even just that he told her to put the dog on the leash, which I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with that. But he also said, like, there was a little back and forth where she said no, and he said, well, if you're going to do what you want to do, then I'm going to do what I want to do. And he started trying to call the dog over. And he had treats in his pocket, but she didn't know that he had treats in his pocket. Like, he could have had anything in his pocket. And so she started freaking out, and that's when the camera went on.
Right. And see, this is the thing. I mean, anybody, speaking of Hollywood, with editing, you can do whatever you want. And I'm so sick of seeing these videos that show the middle 20 seconds of something when we're missing the beginning and we're not catching the whole story. I mean, it was pretty clear here. This woman it would seem as if she was acting crazy, unless he did something that was reprehensible before the camera started rolling. But he was the one shooting. So, I mean, he kind of provoked it.
And then he provoked it, and then he called the dog over. And
three sides to every story.
Well, I know, and I'm not taking sides because I think what she did was horrible too. I think what she did was horrible in terms of calling the cops. I think it was horrible in terms of using his race against him, and it was clear what she was trying to do.
Oh
I think it was horrible.
I can't believe she said that.
Oh, it was like, it was so bad. But then like choking the dog, I mean, both of them were bad. But like, I actually feel really bad about what's happened to her now. I really do. I think it's like the response to her has been completely out of proportion because now she's lost her job. She had to give up the dog. She lost her pet over it.
See, and this is a long time coming. Like, something just doesn't happen to somebody. All of a sudden, they have this one incident in Central Park, and all of a sudden they lose their job. This was a long time coming. This bitch had it coming.
Wait. You need to stop.
Long time.
Well, you need to stop though. You need to stop though, and you need to explain to people what you mean by that, because I understand what you mean by that. I understand like what you're talking about is we create our reality. We create our experiences. We like in many ways, if something bad happens to us, we need to take responsibility for what we did to cause that bad thing. This is law of attraction. This is like manifestation. Right. But the people watching right now don't know what you mean by that. So we need to rewind and you need to explain.
So like a one-off like this, like if this was just an isolated incident, the repercussions wouldn't be so severe. Because think of it in terms of karma. You help so many people that you have an off day and you become a racist bitch. I think the universe is going to sort of let it slide. But if you have like a history of discriminating against people, of hating people, of using your white privilege to hurt people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, then it acts as a crescendo. And then all of a sudden, oh, I lost my job because of this. I lost my dog. No, it's really not because of this one thing. It's a bunch of different things that finally caught up to you. This was the cherry on top of the hot fudge sundae that ruined her life. This wasn't this guy. But besides, it's interesting you say that both of them are Karens because both of them actually have the last name Cooper. I think that's very interesting. I mean, how coincidental could that possibly be? They're both named Cooper? Weird. Mm-hmm. So they have, I do agree with you. And I think it's very, very fair to say that there are parallels between both of them. And we only heard his side of the story. We don't know what he said previously, but I think the fact that you're watching birds and you need to tell somebody, like, mind your own business, dude. Watch your birds, leave her and her dog alone. So they're both Karens. I 100% agree.
Yeah, M Sway says karma knows her address, and that's kind of what you're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But what I'm saying is that let's not say, you feeling bad for her. It's not just this one thing that caught up that has resulted in her life being ruined. This is a cumulative effect of who she is that has ruined her life. If somebody has an off day and just says a few offhanded remarks, it wouldn't be blown out of proportion because their good karma, all the good things that they've done will offset it. And your life is not going to get ruined because you were an asshole one day.
Well, I don't know. I still have a lot of sympathy for her. I do. Like, I know what it's like to have like a social media bomb go off in your life. And when it happened to me, like, it was for something good. So I can't even imagine what she's going through right now. And though, I can say that, yeah, she probably deserved it. And I agree with you because, everything we do creates our experience and you have to take responsibility for that. That's what part of being an empowered person is. I still think we can have sympathy for someone who is having a tough time. And I hope, you always say like everything can be used to your advantage. I mean, she has an opportunity to bounce back.
Oh, well, not only that, but this frees her up. I mean, if you think about it, the only reason she would psychologically now use her sense of privilege against him is because she feels so disenfranchised. Is she disenfranchised because of her white privilege? No, she's disenfranchised and she sort of mugs herself of her own power in her life, maybe in a job that she absolutely hates, relationship she doesn't like, etc. So she's actually feels disenfranchised. So they're very much like mirrors to each other if you want to look at it spiritually, in the sense that she's doing to him what she feels has been done to her, even though she's coming from this place of, I have all this white privilege. She might have white privilege, but she's probably not utilizing it in terms of making her life all that it can be. But yes, of course, she can leverage this. It was probably, just tough medicine, to help her out. It will be interesting to see what comes of him from this as well.
I think so too. I think that'll be really interesting. Yeah. But there was another Karen in the news in the last week. Mika.
Oh God.
Mika Brzezinski has lost her damn mind. She's 100%. Lost. Look, Jack, please delete those tweets. She's always tweeting about please delete those tweets. I mean, Joshua, have you seen her Twitter timeline? Because it's like on Friday or like last week or whenever the hell this happened, it was insane. Her Twitter timeline. It was just like she was like reaching out to everyone she could to try to get Trump thrown off Twitter. And I'm like, and I actually have like, true story. Like I have a lot of respect for Mika Brzezinski in the very specific sense that I think that she has done a lot of good work helping women to embrace their value. Like she wrote a book about knowing your value. She did workshops and talks about knowing your value. I very much appreciated that. And so I have to give her points to that. And so watching her kind of go off the deep end, man, I don't even know what to say about that. That's crazy town. What do you think?
Well, she is a Taurus, so it makes perfect sense that she's teaching people about values. I didn't know that history. I only see clips with her when she's on a tear, and it's just as obnoxious. She's always bitching about something. Like, talk about something nice. There's millions of wonderful things going on in the world. When Tauruses get mad, they get sort of irrational. Like the bull, they see the red and they go after it. And that's really what she's doing. And she's sounding like a broken record. Again, she has the Trump derangement syndrome. Mm-hmm. It's as simple as that. She's crazy town. What do you think about what What do you think about what Trump is doing to Joe?
I mean, Trump is kind of losing it too. Like, Trump needs to just stop. He needs to stop. This happened like a long. Can you psychic what happened? Did Joe Scarborough really kill that girl? Can you psychic that?
I don't really think that he did.
I don't think he did either, but it'd be an interesting thing to psychic.
And the audience, like, what is the? I know that Trump's going to get in big trouble though if he keeps harping on this. Yeah. But what is the argument? Like, what is Trump saying that he did to an intern? What exactly?
Yeah, he's saying he killed an intern, essentially. So what happened is, like, an intern, I don't really know the story all that well, but like an intern or something was like found dead in his office. Mm-hmm. And so there was like a big scandal about it. Huh?
That doesn't look very good.
No, it doesn't look very good. So let's put it to bed. Did Joe Scarborough kill this woman?
Do you know the woman's name?
Does anyone know the woman's name in chat? Again, someone was tweeting about it earlier. Hang on. Mika was tweeting about it earlier. Let me look. There was a letter that apparently her widower wrote.
I know. Why do they say widow? Are we not saying widower anymore? Usually when it's a man who's been left behind, it's a widower. I know they called him a widow.
Lori. Lori was her name. Lori.
Okay.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy. So did Joe kill Amy? No, sorry.
Lori.
Did Joe kill Lori? Say Joe again.
Joe.
Say his last name.
Scarborough.
Did Joe Scarborough? Will you say that for me?
Did Joe Scarborough kill Lori?
And tell me when to stop shuffling.
Stop.
For entertainment purposes only.
I was going to say the same thing. For entertainment purposes only, YouTube.
I'm like, geez. No, I don't think so.
No.
There's nothing. I mean, if there's only positive cards here, like the star card, there may have been something that went on. The Ace of Swords, I think that's the thing. I think that this is like, and then you have the Lust card. My feeling is that there was something that probably went on between them, but I don't think that her death was a direct result from him. Like, I don't think that he even knew that it was going to happen. But I do think that there's more to the story. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Would they allude to the fact that they were fooling around?
I don't even know. I really don't know that much about the story, but it wouldn't surprise me because Joe Scarborough cheated on his other wife with Mika Brzezinski, who is now his current wife.
See, why do women do that? Why when women act like the other woman, can we just get this loud and clear? He's going to do that to you. Just know that. Like, that is like 9 times out of 10, I swear I've seen it at least 15 times happen that way. Seriously. Why do women do that? Why do you cheat with another man? Because when he's with you, he's going to cheat. He's going to cheat. That's how it happens. And wouldn't you cheat on Micah? Like, not for anything, but like, if there's any woman that you would want to cheat on, wouldn't it be her? Just to hear somebody else's voice?
I mean,
seriously, she is a lot.
She is a lot.
Can you imagine waking up to that every morning? Jesus Christ.
She definitely holds a whip in that relationship.
If he did kill her, then he's dealing with his penance. Now, he need not go to jail. Seriously.
He went to a different kind of jail.
I mean, whatever he did, as far as I'm concerned, free pass. If he's dealing with that bitch every day, Jesus.
Tell us how you really feel, Joshua.
She is obnoxious.
Anyway,
what's next?
I'm changing the subject. We actually have a super chat from Cold Summer, and Cold Summer wants to know what will happen with Hong Kong and Taiwan. And I'm assuming that they mean, and I know, guys, I know like about this much about like international stuff, but I happened to watch Tim Pool talking about this right before I came up here. And so what Tim Pool says is that China like is making moves to basically bring down the hammer on Hong Kong and Taiwan and like say you are our property and we are staking our claim. Huh?
Trump is gonna put like a flag in Hong Kong and Taiwan.
No, China, not Trump.
Oh.
China.
Okay, so
China.
Okay, is going to take over trying to take over Hong Kong and Taiwan, right?
Yes. Yep.
So what will happen? Meaning, will China do it? Is that what you mean?
I think so.
That will be a no, most likely. I mean, that's just not possible. But
it is possible. Of course, it's possible.
You think China could take over Hong Kong and Taiwan?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, you know more about it than I do. We asked the question.
That's not to say I know much. Will China take over Hong Kong and Taiwan?
Will China take over Hong Kong? And tell me to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Okay. No, I don't think it's going to be a negative thing. Like, I don't think it's going to be like them taking over it. I think they're starting off on this foot that seems to be very much like going for the win-lose result, and this would be like a taking over type thing. But within the victory card and the lovers card, I actually think that there's some like chance for harmony here, if that's plausible. Like, I don't think it's going to be an issue. I think that China is going to do very, very well, but I don't think that they're going to have to take it over. You know what I mean?
All right.
I think there's going to be some deals and whatnot. Like the Six of Wands is like, it's like a victory card, but it's not a victory card in the sense of, hurting somebody unethically. It's more of like a victory. Like, remember that song Eternal Flame?
Vaguely.
But okay. Anyway,
You're older than me, Joshua.
Is the song Eternal Flame, because most of people online watching this know it because you care about music and culture. This card is about that. It's almost like that sense of things going on and on and on in a very harmonious, fiery way. And with the Lovers card, I think it's going to be dialogue, debate. I think there's going to be good things there. So I don't think it's going to be like a takeover, so to speak.
That's good. That's good. We don't like war. All right, Chrissy has another.
Bengals, apparently. North of Bengals.
Wow. Again, you're older than I am. Okay, I have a vague recollection.
Well, let's go on to happier topics.
I have a vague recollection of music in the 80s. You have a more obsessive recollection of music in the 80s because you actually like music from the. I don't really like music from the 80s. Okay.
I do love music from the 80s.
Yeah.
I love everything 80s. I love the clothes. I love the greed. I love the music. I love the movies. I love everything about the 80s. Yeah.
All right.
100%. Will there be race riots? I hope not. Why?
Well, so you know what happened in Minnesota? Do you hear about what happened in Minnesota?
No, what happened in Minnesota?
So basically, and there's like full on video of this. It's like, it's honestly, Joshua, it's like one of the most disturbing videos I've watched recently. So there's this, basically it's a video of a cop holding a black guy down and he's got his knee on the guy's throat. And the guy is saying like, I can't breathe. And these passersby are like, what are you doing? He's saying he can't breathe. This goes on for like 10 goddamn minutes. And then like nearing the end of the video, the guy has stopped moving. His eyes are like rolled in the back of his head. The cop has still not taken his knee off of him. The guy ultimately ends up dying later that day. I think they took him to the hospital. He ended up dying in the hospital. The cops have just gotten fired, which I think is a really good thing. And there were other cops just standing around trying to do crowd control. No one's trying to help this guy who's saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. So I'm assuming this is what that is in question too. Will there be race riots as a result of this incident?
Okay. So, okay, they have him apprehended. They don't just cuff him like they usually would do, right? And
they have him down on the ground. He's laying on the ground. I think he had handcuffs, but you couldn't really see his hands because like the cop car was blocking it. But the cop has his knee on his throat and is like full on putting all his weight into his throat.
Wow. And he died.
He died.
Wow. Let's see. So you want to, it's in Minnesota?
Minnesota.
And just say, will there be race riots in Minnesota?
Will there be race riots in Minnesota?
Tell me when to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Okay. It's a mixed bag. Like, I do think that there's going to be some kind of thing that happens with the Tower card. There's definitely going to be probably some kind of like destruction of some sort. But with the Pleasure card, it really balances out a little bit in the sense that there's going to be some good stuff that happens too in that realm. And with the Seven of Discs, I think I think that there's going to be I think that there's going to be retribution, and I think that's probably what's going to keep things settled. But I think there's going to be a little bit of a scare, and then I think things will be changed. I think there's going to be some kind of, I don't know, with the Six of Cups, this is sort of like a good turn for another. So I feel like there's going to be some kind of energy that's given to the people that feel as if they've been unfairly hurt. There's going to be some kind of balance. So I think that there's going to be a little bit of something, but I think that there's going to be some kind of retribution that is going to balance things out and make things nicer. So
well, that's good.
I don't think it's anything like, where was it before? You know what I mean?
I don't remember where it was before.
4 years ago? I don't know. It's not going to be,
like St. Louis?
Yes. There'll be something, but I think it's going to be short-lived, and there's going to be some kind of balancing act that's going to make everybody feel better.
Wow, that's good. I mean, because this video was so awful. It was so beyond the pale. I mean, like there's just no defense for these guys. And I'm glad they were fired as quickly as they were. But it sounds like there's going to be more.
I forget who it was, but somebody just got like a slap on the wrist, like paid leave. That's a vacation. Who was that, though? Yeah. That wasn't them. Yeah.
No, that was not them. No.
Okay. Good.
All right. Curious has a question. Curious, I did write this down. I'm glad you asked this question. This actually relates back to Mika Brzezinski losing her mind, accusing Trump all the time. So then, and I had no idea this was going on. So apparently there's this justice for hashtag on Twitter thing trending like right now. And I'll even show it. Hang on. I will show it. Bing. And gotta get off Mika.
Bye, Mika. Don't let the door hit ya.
So we've got the tweet of God right up at the top saying Donald Trump killed his personal assistant Carolyn Gombel in October 2000. He strangled her because he'd gotten her pregnant and was threatening to tell the press. Then he bribed NYPD Chief Bernie Kerik, I think it's Kerik, to cover it up. It's time to investigate. This reeks of bullshit to me, but let's just psychic it, Joshua. Did Donald Trump kill Carolyn, his assistant?
For Pete's sakes. Who's telling tales?
I don't know. Tales are definitely being told.
Okay. Will you repeat the stupid question?
Okay, like you can't do that. You're supposed to be impartial, detached, psychic. You can't call it
stupid. When? Impartial, detached. No, when I start shuffling the cards, that's when I get my detachment. But yeah.
Okay. So you're going to become impartial as soon as
I start shuffling. Yeah, then I get objective, and I can read the cards objectively. So
okay,
please. That'll trigger me. Trigger.
Trigger. Okay, we're gonna be serious now. We're serious business. Did Donald Trump kill his assistant Carolyn?
Carolyn?
That's what it was. Carolyn.
I thought it was Carolyn with the C in the post that you posted.
No, Carolyn. It's Justice for Carolyn. Carolyn Gombel.
Carolyn?
Carolyn.
Sorry. Okay. So say it one more time, please.
Did Donald Trump kill his assistant Carolyn?
Anytime I'm going to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Did Donald Trump kill his assistant Carolyn? No, silly people.
No, Donald Trump did not kill his assistant leftists that are trying to get one back for Mika and Joe. No.
Oh, is that what they're trying to do?
I'm assuming that's what they're trying to do. What other possible explanation could there be for this foolishness?
I don't know. Yeah, I think they just ran their course with 9 of discs. Yeah. I think that like that's totally an issue of people like definitely not just with the idea that he's killed her, but yeah, there's people that are spinning stories. Perhaps maybe he's done that to people. Maybe that's why. You know what I mean? Like telling tales. But yeah, I don't think it's crazy. What a story. This is like they really dramatized it, didn't they?
It's like they always have to like make something up. Like anytime Trump does anything, there's always got to be retribution. This pisses me off more than anything else. Like this is just nonsense. It is absolute and total nonsense, but people have convinced themselves that it's real.
Totally.
All right. You know what else is nonsense, Joshua? Amy Klobuchar.
Another one. What is this? I like everybody, but tonight we're talking about everybody I can't stand.
I don't know. No one can stand Amy Klobuchar, except Amy Klobuchar actually did like shockingly good in the debates. But I even said, and you can back me up on this. I always said if Amy Klobuchar was anywhere near this ticket, it was going to be a no-go. Why don't I like Amy Klobuchar?
Because she is a workplace bully. Tried and true.
Tried and true. 100% bully has been documented in New York Times, Washington Post, even Huffington Post wrote about it, even BuzzFeed wrote about it. She's a bully.
And when you say bully, what we're talking about is she treats her employees who work their asses off for her like shit. Yes.
Like absolute dirt. This woman is like a constant power game with her. It's absolutely awful. And it's like, and it's evidenced by the fact that she has literally the highest staff turnover rate in the entire Senate from 2001 to 2016. Highest staff turnover rate. 36% of her staff turns over every single year. It is a very, very obvious fact on the Hill. And I've talked to many people who work there. You do not go work for Amy Klobuchar because she is a nightmare to work for. So I was said from the beginning, if she was anywhere near this ticket at all, no go for me. Now I already decided to vote for Trump months ago, but now Joe Biden is vetting Amy Klobuchar to be VP. And I guess the biggest question I had about this is there an astrological reason that Amy Klobuchar is so damn unlikable?
Let's see here. Oh, her birthday's coming up, huh? So I'll share.
I'll stop.
She's a Gemini. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you her chart. I haven't even looked at this yet, so we'll see.
Doing it on the fly.
We'll do it on the fly. Let's see this bitch's chart. All right, here we go. Oh. Okay, so she's a Gemini, Aquarius rising. Her moon is also in, so she's a double Gemini. Oh, I wonder why I don't like her. So funny. Surprising. There's such wonderful people. Well, I'm just saying, not all Geminis are like that, but double Gemini, that's a lot. That is a lot of Gemini. Moon, I mean, I think with the moon on the air sign, air on the moon sign is just chilly, pretty cold. But there's a beautiful trine, with her ascendant and her moon with the Aquarius rising. Like she has some really good aspects here. I think what the issue is, why people don't like her, it probably has to do with the quincunx of Pluto, which is about severity, that is making to her Aquarius rising, and then the square from that Pluto that's hitting her sun and her moon. So she has issues with power. She probably just rubs people, really the wrong way. Other stuff that's just interesting in terms of her chart. I think it's that aspect with that. She also is just very very non-emotional, and I think that's the big thing. Like the only emotion she has in her chart, I mean, she has the South Node, so you would think that would help, and the Chiron, but Neptune, which is generational. So I think at the end of the day, she's just extremely cold person, just extremely cold, and almost like devoid of compassion and feelings. And I think that's very off-putting, because then you have Pluto, which is very much about power. So the Pluto aspect is what really hurts the way that she comes across, and it also hurts herself. Like she's very gets caught up in power struggles and whatnot. So when you have a lot of power, you have issues with power, what's important is a certain level of sensitivity. She's not aware of her own power, which is probably why she's such a bully. Like if you're in a position of power and you think, if I throw this salad, what she did, like threw some salad. She had some salad incident, right?
No, she threw a binder. What the salad incident was, her staff person bought her a salad and was at the airport and carrying all her stuff and dropped the little plastic utensil set, so she didn't have a fork. So she pulled the comb out of her purse and ate it with her comb, and then she handed the comb to her staff person and was like, "Clean it."
Right. Okay. So this is the thing. Geminis are not bad, but when you have an over exaggerated aspect in your chart, like being a double Gemini with an Aquarius rising, that is a lot. So it's good to have a balanced chart. She would need to really overcompensate with more emotional integrity, because she's not most likely integrating her emotionality into her life. But she has this power over people. What we're not realizing, what you and I are missing, Carlin, is the fact that she's not aware of her power. So even though she's this boss, when you're a boss, you might think, how do I explain this to him? I want to make sure that he does the right thing, but I don't want to hurt his feelings. So you might inject a little bit of humor. You might give him a dirt sandwich, right? Because you're aware of your power. She's not aware of her power. That's her big issue with Pluto. So I think that makes her a little bit more understandable. The fact that she's not aware of her power, that's why she's probably so nasty. She has no idea.
Jay Copeland says, Amy is definitely a Karen. She is a double Gemini.
I think Geminis, yeah. I mean, there are some Geminis that are so wonderful and so amazing. But I think that, with that duality, especially when you have the moon on an air sign, it's just extremely... it's just very, very cold.
Oh, Cemetery of Choice says, so Amy is Gretchen on steroids. And I bring this up because I have a Gretchen question. Okay, do you know who Gretchen Whitmer is? Hang on, I'm going to share my screen. Hang on, that's not what I want to show. Gretchen Whitmer is the governor of Michigan. I have been doing an awful lot of stories about her, videos about her. I don't know why this is not loading. Maybe this is better. So here's what I want to psychic. So Gretchen Whitmer got in trouble this week because, Michigan has been on absolute and total lockdown for forever. I mean, it's some of the worst lockdowns in the country. And this woman is insane. But one of the things that happened is, so she was telling people, don't go out for Memorial Day. And there was even an executive order at some point that people were not allowed to be out on their own boat in a lake. But she was saying don't go out for Memorial Day, don't go out for Memorial Day. But then what happened, here it is, embattled Michigan governor in hot water over husband's request. So what happened is Gretchen Whitmer's husband they were trying to get their boat ready for Memorial Day, and Gretchen Whitmer's husband was working with the guy who was working on their boat, was like, can you get it done by Memorial Day? And he was like, no, we can't. And he was like, well, I'm married to the governor, does that make a difference? And they were like, nope, deuces. And they didn't do it because they like hate her. But then she gave this press conference today saying, my husband made a failed attempt at humor last week when checking in with the small business that helps with our boat and dock up north. Knowing it wouldn't make a difference, he jokingly asked if being married to me might move him up in the queue. So now she's trying to play this off like her husband was making a joke. Joshua, can we psychic if her husband was making a joke or if he was serious and trying to use the fact that he's married to her to get their boat out for Memorial Day weekend?
Let's see. So, just say, was he making a joke legitimately?
Was Gretchen's husband making a joke legitimately?
Tell me to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Was Gretchen's husband legitimately making a joke? No, I think that it's like one of those things like what you say in jest. Do you know what I mean? Like what you say in jest is often some truth to it, right? So with the Knight of Cups, I think that he was probably feeling good when he wound up doing that. Like, you know, the ideal for him in his situation would be to move up in queue. Who the hell could blame him? Get off his back. Why? Again.
No. He does not get a free pass. No.
I'm sorry, but he does. Like
Joshua,
the fact that he is in that position. Wait. Hear me out here. The fact that he's in that position has required him and his wife to make certain sacrifices. He wants to move up in queue. Yeah, get the hell up in queue. Just don't get in the news about it.
You know what? In the occasion that his wife is not being a tyrannical bitch, and I didn't even want to use the B word there. I wanted to use the C word. That's how I feel about this woman. I don't use that word. I swear a lot. I don't use that word. Like, I have sympathy that he's married to this tyrant of a woman. I'm sure it can't be an easy thing. But no, this woman barred people from buying goddamn seeds at Walmart. This woman is taking away the barber's license of a 77-year-old barber because he opened so he could still feed his family and make money. Come on. Yeah.
With the luxury card, like this is somebody who's definitely used to getting their way in the sense that, you know, the mentality is, and again, the mentality is that they are above the law. And again, like we don't necessarily know the sacrifices that they've made, but this is like their reality is such that the rules absolutely don't apply to them. So I don't think that it was in jest. I think he absolutely was trying to move up in line, but I don't think that he did it in a throwing my weight around Amy, how do you say her last name?
Klobuchar
kind of way. Like I think he did in I think her husband's a really nice guy.
I'm sure he would have to be married to her. I'm sure he's like she wears the pants in that family.
Oh,
I would think.
Yeah. But yeah, so, I like his energy actually. Who is he?
I don't know much about him. I feel bad for him.
If we did our investigative research, we'd find this is a nice bloke. I'm glad I like somebody this episode.
Well, okay, it's fine to like her husband. I just don't like her though, because she gives women in power a bad name.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't like that. Agreed. Joshua, do you have a couple extra minutes to hang out? We have a couple more questions. Okay. We have a super chat here, and I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry, dude, but I think that this is a good super chat for everyone to have. Mind giving a quick explanation of the astrological chart for someone who doesn't know anything about astrology? Because astrology is more than just, you know, what you read in the newspaper. Yes?
Yes, absolutely. So your sun sign, and that's your star sign when you look in the newspaper every day or online nowadays, right? It'll say Scorpio and give you your horoscope. But your astrological chart is actually a lot more than just your sun sign. So you have all these planets that are in the sky, and all of them are in a particular sign. And that when you take your first breath, the way the planets were aligned up in the sky is a snapshot. It goes with the theory like as above, so below. So everything that was in the sky at the exact moment of your birth is also within you. So when you understand your astrology, you're able to let your stars out. Like if you knew nothing about astrology, but were completely untethered from fear, and were felt completely perfect, you would naturally shine your moon in Aquarius or your Venus in Sag or your Mars in Capricorn. Like you would naturally shine that way. What astrology does, it tells you, oh, you have Mars in Capricorn. This is how you get to fight and always win, blah, blah, blah. And you're able to pump that up. So essentially, it's a really amazing tool to make you remember what you may have forgotten about why you came here, what you're here to do, your greatest talents, and maybe even, your weaknesses and how you can downplay those.
Yeah, and sometimes people think, like, because they see the horoscope, they think, like, oh, like, astrologers just give very general answers and they can really apply to everyone. And I think sometimes that can be true with the horoscopes. Mm-hmm. But when you look at someone's whole astrological chart, it really gives you, like, much more information. And it can explain some of, like, the contradictions that people might have with their sun sign in particular, right?
Yes, and not only that, but so, for instance, if the moon say is in Cancer today, if you have a Leo and you're writing a horoscope for them from the astrologer's perspective, then they're going to probably say that today is a really difficult day for somebody who is a Leo. But if that Leo has a Pisces rising or a Cancerian moon or something, then that day's not bad for that Leo. But if that Leo is all Leo in his chart or all signs that are not compatible with Cancer, then yeah, he's going to have a terrible day. So the horoscopes, they can only do so much because they haven't ran everybody's chart, right? So yeah, but it's general. But when you're talking about the transits, then you can be like, oh, holy crap, you're going through your Saturn return, like big changes happening, or Uranus is hitting your first house, like you're going to change your identity. So not only do you have all those planets, but you have the transits to those planets, because what's going on right now in the sky, and those are hitting your stars, so to speak, and that activates stuff, and it's amazing. I don't know how anybody lives without it. Plenty of people do.
It's all very complicated. It's very complicated.
It's a science and an art, I would say. Like all sciences are arts.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Couple more things. Martin, thank you for the super chat. You didn't say anything, but I just wanted to say thank you for that.
Thank you, Martin. That was really nice.
Leia's son just got accepted to Cal Poly. Yay! Congratulations to Leia. We love Leia. Jen says your analysis of her birth chart changed her life and put her on an entirely new path. Woo! Joshua, if someone wants to get a psychic reading from you to have you do their astrological chart, where can they find you?
Well, I mean, check the description, right? Because you'll have it in the description. And if you follow Carlin, she has my socials in there. That might be the easiest law of least resistance way. Just look in the description. Thank you, Carlin.
Yeah, psychicsun.com. I will pimp it even if you don't want to. Do you want to do Jimmy Fallon or do you want to wrap up? Up to you.
I mean, I don't know. Is there anything? Yeah, we can do that or whatever else that sounds good to you.
Well, you put Jimmy Fallon on the list, and I didn't really know what happened, but apparently Jimmy Fallon got canceled today for doing a blackface impersonation of Chris Rock. And, I mean, this is inevitable, right? Like, this is, you reap what you sow. You play into this social justice BS. And Joshua, this is why I don't want any of this racism is power plus prejudice nonsense. Because this all leads to this. It all leads to this, like, all the time. And so, like, here's how I feel about it. So Chris
McCaffrey's going to go and have a conversation with you. And you two are going to have a chat.
You know what? I'm not afraid of any nuns.
Hey, she's more than a nun. She's a magical nun.
Well, she can be your magical nun. I am not Catholic. I'm black sheep of my family. I don't believe in nuns. I know.
I'll have none of that.
I'll have none of that. but so okay. So here's how I feel about the blackface thing, and I have a lot of respect for like Adam Carolla in what he has said about like because he did blackface to dress up as Mr. T for Halloween one year. And he refused to apologize. And he got called out on it when everyone was getting called out for doing blackface. And he said, no, I did an homage to Mr. T. It was an homage. I dressed up at him because I like him. It was an homage. And so he refused to apologize for blackface. And it sounds like what Jimmy Fallon did is he dressed up to like impersonate Chris Rock on SNL and like is getting called out for it 20 years later. 20 GD years later. Like, why? Why are we wasting our time with this? I don't understand.
Well, the question really is, 20 years ago, let's just go back. Why did that get allowed on SNL? Are everybody there? Do you know how many people had to vet that skit in order to get it performed? That had to go through, I don't know, Lorne Michaels, plenty of black, white, orange, gray, brown, purple people that were on set. So the fact of the matter is that, granted, it's perhaps in poor judgment, but this isn't just on him. He had a whole freaking crew that were taping him. They went through rehearsals. This isn't what he did in just some Halloween party. This was an orchestrated event. So what really he should have done is, well, I mean, he did the right thing, right? He apologized for it, but it's not like it was a one-man show. I'm sure that, and this is where education comes in handy. If, you know, for instance, on that SNL set, and I don't know, but I'm hoping there were black people on that set at that point, that's their job, or anybody's job if you're representing, being like, you know, this is a really bad idea.
Well, but it's like, I don't agree with you that apologizing was the right thing, because the thing about SJWs and this type of cancel culture nonsense, or Tim Pool is now calling it Karen culture, which I really appreciate. Actually, I think that's fucking hilarious. But like, the thing about this stuff is like, you never apologize. Do not apologize. Do not apologize ever, because they will have power over you the second that you apologize. And so I don't agree with him apologizing. I think he should have stood his ground and said, you know what, like exactly what you just said, like, this was an orchestrated thing. There were a lot of people in on this. You know, would I make the same decisions today? Probably not. Probably not. I would not make this decision again. But like, stand your ground. You did it. Like, you know.
Well, I think professionally he did the right thing. I mean,
professionally, but you and I are talking about two different things. We have different goals.
What I mean is that I think that instead of giving excuses, and that's the only thing I'm saying, is that the fact is it wasn't a one-man show. You know, he apologized, and I think that in the position that he's in, I think that was the most intelligent thing to do. What else is he going to do? Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah, it's just interesting that 20 years ago, I don't know. Did people?
Mary hit the nail on the head. 20 years ago, people had a sense of humor. That's exactly right. It's exactly right. We no longer have a sense of humor in the land of SJW, really Karen culture.
Because in the year 2000, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, I don't know. It's fascinating that something like that. I mean, I don't know. Did they get in trouble for it back then? I didn't do the research, but
well, probably not. But you know what it's like? It's like we talked about Tyra Banks getting in trouble a couple weeks ago for like clips that came out from early America's Next Top Model. It's so stupid. Like, and why do these people have all this time that they're literally going back through TV shows that are 20? Well, okay, I know why they have this time to go back through TV shows. Everyone's sitting at home, and no one has a job, and people are like, Victor does his job. Like, his job is to do chat for like customer support and stuff, but he literally sits downstairs at his desk all day long watching movies. That's what he does all day long while he's doing his chat. And so I get that people have a lot of extra time to watch TV now, but this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so what that's what's happening now. Like, people, because of the quarantine and people have extra time on their hands, they're going back in time just to play gotcha.
I mean, or they're just like watching old episodes of America's Next Top Model or like SNL, and then all of a sudden they're going, oh, clutching my pearls, I am offended by this thing.
Yeah.
It's 20 years ago. Like, relax. Like, the movie Tropic Thunder, I'm sorry, that movie is hilarious. There was blackface in that movie. When is someone going to come after Robert Downey Jr. for that? He did a whole goddamn role in blackface. And it was hilarious. And I don't care if you Karens come to cancel me. I don't care. That movie was hilarious.
What movie is this?
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder. Huh, and he wore blackface in that.
Oh, he wore blackface the whole movie. The whole movie.
What year is this?
I don't know what year it was. I mean, I don't think it was 20 years ago, but it was like a while ago. Maybe like 10 years ago. Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a while ago. It was an older movie.
Wow.
It's a hilarious movie. I kind of want to go watch Tropic Thunder.
I think the balance of that is that blackface at one point was used to very much humiliate Black people. And I think that doing that now, when we have the knowledge of like, that's just not okay. I think that's the argument. Why it was okay to do this on SNL 20 years ago, but now it's more of an issue. That's another topic, but I understand why it's offensive. I mean,
I understand why it's offensive too, but I think in comedy, like, you know, like good comedy takes risks, and good comedy sometimes is really offensive, right? That's part of what makes it good comedy. When you have this like SJW comedy, it's not funny. It's not funny. Mm-hmm. And so I don't mind people taking risks in the name of like trying to achieve like really good comedy. Like that's an art form. I don't know how people do that. I think some people go too far with things. And sometimes you frankly, like, it's like experimentation, isn't it? Like sometimes you need to go too far to know what the right balance is. I know, like, you know, I've never worn blackface for a presentation, and I never would, because that would be a horrible idea. But I mean, I know like sometimes when I did like presentations and things, and I would be like trying a new presentation out, I would go way too far with a joke, and it would just fall dead, and the audience would be like, okay, gotta rein that back in. You know, and then you learn and you find the balance and you figure out what's funny and you figure out what works. And to me, that's kind of like the same thing.
Totally. And I don't think now there's the chance of anybody doing something like that, because these past issues have been brought up. And maybe that's the point of them, to bring up something, dredge something up from 20 years ago, just so it doesn't happen again. I don't think that we're going to have any concerns of that happening anytime soon. But again, in all fairness, it's everywhere. Kevin Hart was excused from doing the Oscars, right? Because he made some gay jokes, right? So I think that this cancer culture is like everywhere. And I think that we're looking for the rules and trying to find our footing. And I think what's tough is that what's okay for one person isn't okay for another. So it's always hard, but I see what you're saying.
I think that we should not be trying to negotiate with cancel culture at all. I think we should just do what we want to do. And if someone tries to cancel you, you tell them right where to go. Honestly, this is the conclusion I came to with the knitting stuff. There is no negotiation with cancel culture. There is only you, Karen, mind your own damn business. That is the balance. Is Karen, mind your business.
Courtney, thank you.
Thank you for the super chat, Courtney. Courtney is our favorite conservative librarian.
Oh my God, that's cool.
Yeah.
Conservative librarian. I think that, like, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of fantasies for that. The conservative librarian, right? Isn't that like a thing?
I don't know. Apparently.
It's a thing. Yeah, I think it's a thing. The conservative librarian. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, folks. Well, that's all we have for tonight. Thank you for joining us. I feel like we were extra uppity tonight, Joshua.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. We will be back at you next week, 9:30 on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday of next week, I'm going to Los Angeles. And Joshua and I may do an impromptu show on Friday where we will drink beer and we'll see what happens. And smoke something that is completely legal. And Joshua will get even more psychic when he does that.
Or it depends.
We'll see. All right, guys, have a good night, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.